Coffee break with me. Woo! Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. How are you today? Today I'm here with a review, or is it worth the hype, on the newest baby of Urban Decay, which is their Born to Run eyeshadow palette. All right, you guys. At this point in my life, at this stage in my career, it's really hard to impress me. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. It's very hard for something to come out where it impresses me, right? I'll like things and new stuff comes out all the time and I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And I'll try it and I'll use it for a month or two or three and I really enjoy it. But after a while, I'm like, if that palette were to mysteriously disappear, I don't think I'd miss it, right? So cool stuff comes out all the time in the beauty community, especially recently or in the last, I would say, 3 years, where brands are constantly popping out new collections. I mean, you guys, seriously, we need a break. So when Urban Decay came out with this new palette, I saw a picture of it and I was like, all right, seems all right. But if you look at it, you're like, I mean, is it really that exciting? I will not confirm or deny that I want to have its babies. Okay, so the whole premise behind this palette, the idea or the concept that Wendy came up with was, I want to create a palette where no matter what kind of beauty lover you are, where you need to go, where the world takes you, I have you covered. And so basically what it is a palette that has the perfect amount of neutrals with just the right amount of pops of color. So the way that it's organized, I think that it's refreshing for a brand like Urban Decay, but I also feel like it does the palette a disservice. So when we're used to seeing palettes from Urban Decay, hold please, we're used to seeing colorful palettes like the Vice palettes, right? Where they are just a splash of colors just kind of sprinkled around in a palette. They kind of started to make sense a little bit later on, like this, where they're kind of grouped together by color families. But in the end, it wasn't a palette that gave you a complete look. You would still need to grab from other neutral palettes, right? Like you'd have to get a naked palette or your naked basics. With this one, Wendy was like, I don't care where you're going in the world. I don't care what kind of job you have. If you're a professional, if you're an artist, whatever you're doing, I want to give you a palette that has you covered. And she completely 100% achieved it with this palette. Now, I only have one complaint about this whole palette and I'll tell you guys in a second. But other than that, let's break it down. So this is not a limited edition palette. It is a palette that has 3 rows, 7 shades per row. There's 21 colors in this palette. The structure of the palette is a very hard plastic. In fact, I think the surface of it, I want to say, is like some sort of really thick cardboard or paper, but the structure of the palette itself is plastic. It does have weight to it, and I think the weight is derived from the massive mirror that is in here. I don't know if you guys can tell. It's a real one. It's a real one, and it's heavy. Now, this is a palette designed for travel, right? So it has all your colors in here. It is a little heavy, but it's not heavy where, you know, you'd change your mind about traveling with it. The palette itself has 21 shades, 5 of which of the colors in here are re-promotes. That means that you've seen them before, either in singles or in other palettes. So the ones that are re-promotes are Blaze, Riff, I'm cheating over here with my notes, Smog, Punk is one of my absolute favorites, and where's Jet. So those colors are re-promotes. That means you've seen them before in other palettes. Everything else, brand new shades to the collection or to this palette. Now this collection does come with 3 eyeliners and 3 lipsticks. Those are limited edition. The palette is not. The palette is $49. Customarily, like, you know, Urban Decay palettes are usually between 40 and 55 bucks, depending on what it is, if it's a naked palette or whatever. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the palette. I will show you some up-close swatches of the shades. I will tell you the finish of the shadows, and then you guys can decide for yourselves, you know, looking up close, if it's a palette that's pigmented enough or if it's a palette that can actually live happily ever after in your makeup repertoire. So let's go ahead and get started. The very first color in the palette is the one that you would typically use as like a brow bone highlight. It's what I'm wearing on my brow bone today, and it is not a matte shadow, but it's also not a metallic or insulting pearlescent looking shadow, right? So Breakaway is a warm ivory shimmer. Then we have Stranded, and Stranded is a pale rose gold with shimmer. Blaze is a re-promote, and that's a light metallic with a pink shift. Weekender is a light neutral beige matte. Still Shot is a bright peach. Riff is another re-promote, and that is a brown nude matte. Good as Gone. It's a deep brown with iridescent micro shimmer. And that's the first row of the palette. The second row starts with Hellride, and you have a deep fuchsia matte, followed by Baja, which is a burnt orange matte. Doesn't that color look like the color Tajin that was in the Arctic Fox collab? You know which one I'm talking about? What's her name? Super gorgeous girl. Oh, you know what I'm saying. Then we have Accelerate, a reddish copper metallic. Guilt Trip, a smoky purple shimmer. Ignite, a rose gold metallic. Smog, which is another re-promote, and that's a deep coppery bronze. And Wanderlust, a forest green with gold micro shimmer. And that's the second row of the palette. And then the final row of the palette starts with Wild Heart, and that's a bright fuchsia shimmer, followed by Punk, which is one of my favorite Urban Decay shadows of all time, and it is a re-promote that is a reddish brown matte, followed by Double Life, a metallic rust. Jet, which is another re-promote that's a black with a deep purple shift. Drift is a charcoal satin with micro sparkle. Radio, a deep emerald satin. And Big Sky, a frosted green shimmer with iridescent sparkle. So you have 3 rows of really, really awesome shades. And basically what you're supposed to be able to do is take any of these colors and go from the most neutral look to the most neutral look with pops of color, or a bright, happy, colorful look. If you guys look at my eyes right now, I am wearing this palette, and what I'm going to do is I'll walk you through the palette and show you the shades that I'm using, and I will also include a little side-by-side mini tutorial of me applying the shadow. The very first color that I took was Breakaway, and that is the warm ivory shimmer, and that is all over or right beneath my eyebrow or my brow bone highlight. After that, I took a giant fluffy blending brush, and the color Still Shot. That's this beautiful peach right here. It looks a lot brighter in the pan, but it transfers onto the skin in a really beautiful neutral look. So it is a peach, but it's a very soft, neutral, leaning towards nude peach. Then after that, I took Baja, this bright burnt orange, and I applied that to the crease. I deepened the crease with a smaller blending brush, like a MAC 217. And then I took Hellride. This color here is so stunning. It reminds me of a shade that's in the Modern Renaissance palette, which I already have a really big dent in. It's a beautiful color. And colors like this, like a matte raspberry, are really hard to make really pigmented and blendable. So you either get like the chalky patchiness, or you get that intense pigment that doesn't budge and is super hard to blend. This one nailed it. The formula is perfection. And then on the lower lash line, I just have Guilt Trip. That's this beautiful purple right here, and that's just kind of smudged on the lower lash line with no rhyme or reason, no precision or anything. I just kind of went with a big shader brush on the lower lash line. So I am wearing 5 of the shades, and I have to say I'm super happy with them. They perform so well. Usually with Urban Decay and colorful palettes, I usually expect 1 or 2 colors to be a little, you know, missing the mark on formula, but so far I really like them. So final thoughts. For a palette like this, it is $49. The packaging is beautiful. We didn't even talk about how pretty the packaging is with all the pictures of, you know, all over the world on here. But I have to say for $49, it is a palette that would be great for someone that has a minimal makeup collection and kind of wants all colors in one palette. This is also a really cool palette for those of you that like colorful looks but are a little bit more modest in your type of color selection. So for example, you guys know with makeup, there are some of us that will go and we'll reach for like Urban Decay's Chaos or just a beautiful chartreuse and just apply that all over the lid and we can give two craps about it, right? And there are others of us that like color, but with some sort of control, right? And so when you have beautiful jewel tones like these, you're able to create colorful looks that are still a little bit more subtle. So you're still getting the satisfaction of using a color, but it's not super bright. The cool thing about this as well is that if you are going on a trip and you need to work or you need to go to a meeting or you need to do something or you have a baptism or a wedding or whatever and you want a neutral look, you can get it with this. If you want to go out dancing or you have a hot date or whatever and you want to do a really fun, colorful look, or a romantic look with like these colors right here, you could do that. You're gonna go to a rock concert and you wanna do a really like grungy, colorful, like smoky emerald or blue metallic eye, you can do that with these. And they're not so bright that they're like super intense colorful, they're just colorful enough. So it's a really cool palette that's gonna cover all your bases. Now, if you're someone that already is like a makeup collector of the universe, or you are like the mayor of Colorful City, it's probably not something that is gonna tickle your pickle. You know what I'm saying? But I really like it. I told you guys, like I totally prejudged it when I knew they were gonna come out with it. They actually sent me an email and they were like, hey Dani, we want you to be one of the first ones to get it and then we're gonna send you the PR in the future so that you can talk about it, but we wanna see what you think first. So they sent it to me and I got it and I was like, all right, it's okay. And then I used it and I was like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, please forgive me. But you know the best part of that story that I just shared with you guys is that I have two of these palettes now. And I don't know what to do with the second. So maybe you'll want to snoop around the contents of this video if you're feeling lucky, because you may get your hands on this palette. You know what I do love, you guys, is that usually with Urban Decay, they throw a brush in these palettes that I don't want to use, that I don't have any use for, that it takes up room. Give me more eyeshadow colors. Oh, they read my mind. There is no brush in here, thank goodness, because we all have our favorite brushes. How many times do you use the brushes that are in here? Honestly, you guys, all of the brushes in my palettes are brand new. This one's still in plastic, okay? I also never take the plastic film off mirrors if it comes with one. I'm like the lady that would have like a plastic cover on her couch, okay? Anyway, I love that it does not come with a brush. Give me more eyeshadow. Give me more eyeshadow colors. I don't need a brush. So the palette's $49. It's available on the Urban Decay website. It's available at all places that sell Urban Decay, like Macy's, Ulta, Sephora. If you see it, swatch it. I bet you're gonna like it. And I bet even if you are a neutrals girl, you're gonna be like, maybe I want to get that palette a little bit in my life. I know you do. You do, and you should, and I fully support that decision, okay? Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will link this palette in the description box below, wherever I can find it. So if I can find it at Macy's, Sephora, Ulta, whatever, I will link it in the description box below. You guys, if you're gonna buy it online, make sure you use Ebates. I sound like your mom right now. Anyway, that is it. You want to say hi? All right, okay. So Sophia's born to run. She wants to say goodbye to everybody. Say, you guys, you need the Born to Run palette. I'm wearing it right now. Which color are you wearing on your face right now? You wearing Breakaway? Is that why you look so beautiful? Yeah, it is, right? Look at those beautiful eyes. Oh my goodness. Those beautiful brown eyes. Holy moly. So who's your makeup artist? Huh? What are your beauty treatments? You want to tell us the beauty secret? Tell everyone. My best beauty secret is happiness. Or you just want to hang out back there? Anyway, you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And you know what to do. If you found this video useful, entertaining, and learned something, please give us a paw up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, this coffee break is over. Bye, guys. Say bye. Say bye, everybody. Go get the palette. You're welcome. I love you.